Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Just going to do a quick intro here for the internets. Welcome to Studio Central. My name is James, and we are coming at you today with an art demo. I will be teaching a couple of different kinds of watercolor techniques. So Studio Central, we're a part of Artbeat Studios, and that, if you're not aware, it's a not-for-profit registered charity that works specifically with art and utilizing that as a form of mental health recovery. We really believe in art, the power of art, and how it engages people and allows all of us to have self-expression, which is really important to being happy, right? So we're here today to make some art. I have a few people. Do you mind if I pop you in for just a second? We got Kevin, Francis is here, and I believe Marissa's going to be joining us as well. She normally sort of heads the intro, but I'm taking it all over today. So yeah, so that's the basic intro. So I'm kind of going to go into this demo. We normally have been doing online demos during COVID, and now we've transitioned into physically being here in a space, able to teach one-on-one. But I'll keep recording this, but I'll be sort of more focusing on the people that are in the room. So, and I see Kate. Hey, Kate, how's it going? Good to see ya. I saw Kate Kaplan. She had an art demo here the other day. If you didn't see it, check Studio Central's Facebook page. We have all of the videos we've done before. She did an awesome demo on painting these really cool, beautiful mushroom houses. It's really cool. So please check that out. So yeah, so today I'm just gonna set myself up and we'll see what happens. So I'm just transitioning to the old selfie stick. Thank you, Marissa, for that. Oh. It's just like slowly moving away.
That's hilarious.
There we go.
That's not gonna work.
Oh, maybe I can make it lower. Oh yeah.
Or here's a bigger base too.
Oh yeah, right on.
That's a good idea.
Bigger base. Hey, Justin. So bear with us through these technical difficulties. Okay.
It wouldn't be itself without technical difficulty.
I know, right? Yeah, I agree. So let's see if we can get a nice shot of what it actually is. Don't think that's gonna work. Maybe I'll just hold it for now.
Just go like this.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just train it on me for now while I talk, while I do the intro. So, hi. So, technical difficulties aside, I'll just wait for Kevin to get back, and we'll start talking about what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to yammer on, Francis.
Yeah, listen.
So thank you for being here. Hello, Marissa. It's going okay. It's a little tipsy-turvy with the with the.
We used brushes
selfie
to
stick.
stand in before.
Did you?
Yeah, do you want me to
Sure.
give it a good frame? That's a nice angle though.
I thought while I'm speaking, whatever, I was like, hi. Yes.
Just stick it here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Marissa. See, Marissa knows all. Hey, that's
Hello.
Marissa. Yeah.
Hi, if you haven't met me before, maybe you have. Hello.
So Today, we're going to be doing some watercolor techniques. So just some really, some basic techniques, some basic things that you can use to feel confident in approaching watercolor. Because I feel like we're all artists, we all work in different mediums, photography, some beautiful sewing and craft work from Francis, and I just feel like when someone says I paint in watercolors, it's easy to be like, okay, what's that even mean, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to sort of be intimidated by a medium if you haven't worked with it. So what I want to do is sort of cover 4 different techniques that just can help enhance your confidence with watercolors. So then when you come to the canvas on your own time, you would feel more comfortable. So, does that make sense? Okay. So, these techniques are also sort of like the foundations, some of the foundations of watercolor painting. So the first technique that we're going to do is called wet on wet. We've done other watercolor demos, like Kristen has done one, Marissa has, I've done watercolor before, and we have all mentioned the wet on wet technique and sort of reviewed it a bit. So I thought I would just review it again because it's really a great foundational aspect to watercolor painting. So if you have your watercolor paper, so for the 4 techniques, we're going to be using the one piece of paper. So sort of 1, 2, 3. Try to think of this as 4 spaces. So we'll utilize this for the 4 techniques. And there's a 5th thing I want to do that we'll cover on the full sheet at the end. Yeah. As well, when you settle in on a muggy, warm day, muggy summer day in Winnipeg, always have water and stay hydrated. Okay, so the first technique we're going to be doing is wet on wet. So you just need one brush here, and I'll show. So we've got one brush about this size, and we've got water. We've got watercolor paper, and I have watercolors. Okay, so that's sort of the basics that you need. What? So we're just sort of adjusting our little setup here so you can get a better view, and I'll take this moment to sort of say something funny.
What?
This is my first time doing. I've been doing these art demos online, right? And if you've tuned in, you've seen Marissa doing it, Kristen doing it, myself, and this is the first time doing a demo, but like in person. So it's funny because like stuff like this, the selfie stick is going on. We're trying to, you know.
This is the real life.
This is real life. This is life.
Real life. This is real life. Because otherwise it's going to move around again. So.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we just want to set the camera up so then all the peeps in the internet can see the view.
We're going into view mode.
Oh.
Say bye-bye. Bye. Oh, bye, Kate. Hi, Kate. Bye, Kate. Yeah. We'll see you here. Boom. There we are. Oh, rotate your phone. There we go. Yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah.
I'll basically just be working.
Your phone is so big. It's so heavy. Need more tape. Okay. I can be your moderator.
How's that? Oh yeah, that's not too bad.
It looks perfect, actually.
Okay. So let's make sure it doesn't. It's probably gonna slowly move, but that's. I'll remember this angle.
Yeah.
I see the angle.
It is.
Okay.
No, it is a little bit. It is upside down from the view. Is that okay? What you're doing?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can get a sense.
I'll pop in every now and then and check for
Yeah. Okay, so our first technique, sign language now, is going to be a wet on wet technique. So basically, what we want to do is we want to take the brush, and then you're going to wet the brush, and you're going to paint 2 rectangles. Okay? So medium-sized rectangles. Now, when you paint it, you're not really going to be able to see it because you're using clear water. But with the light, you should be able to see
Just in a corner, you mean?
the reflection. Yeah, we're kind of doing it
You do 4 different techniques.
four different techniques and sort of break your paper into 4. Keep in mind that there'll be 3 other techniques coming up. No,
really great at
2 individual rectangles.
okay.
But I can't see.
So yeah, so it is transparent, but if you kind of move it around, you can see the
Yeah, I
light
can see that.
reflecting.
Okay, I did it.
Okay, so now if you have your 2 rectangles, so these, pick a color. I'm gonna pick green because I love green. So I've just got my paint here. I'm gonna pick this green. I like a darker green too, so I think I'll pick this one. And for the first rectangle, I just want you to go back and forth and bring that green paint across that wet rectangle.
Oh, you want us to fill the rectangle in with water? Or just do an outline with water?
No, you made 2 rectangles
Right.
with the water, so it's a clear rectangle, and then
But
you're taking the color and just trying to bring it across like
so you
that.
put water in the rectangle?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't do that.
Making sure my brush is.
How's
Should I
that
make a
working,
little-
Kevin?
I
See
think-
where they are.
Does it matter what color I put in this rectangle?
Any color you want, actually. I chose green because that's one of my favorite colors.
I'm just putting water in there, a color in the rectangle?
So you're making a rectangle with water, so it's going to be transparent
Okay.
and a sense of how watercolor can be applied to the paper.
It's interesting that there's like a little barrier.
I missed the point of it.
Yeah. So just to recap.
Difficult.
No. As I said at the beginning, I'm teaching you 4 basic watercolor techniques to give you confidence with the medium.
But I have a question.
Sure.
Why didn't I just no rectangles, just wet my brush, put it in the green, and then go like that? What's
so
the difference?
this technique is called wet on wet. So when you put that clear rectangle on with the water, the way the watercolor interacts with that rectangle is different than, say, if you just did a regular rectangle with the
Dry.
color.
On dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So speaking of that, the next one coming up is called wet on dry, which is
Which is what I was just talking about.
exactly.
Okay.
So now for the second rectangle,
Darker.
take some color, and for this one, instead of doing brush strokes, you're just gonna dab touches of color on the rectangle.
Same color?
Yeah.
Different color?
I think same color if you want. Yeah.
Oh, I did different.
Well, do you,
Oh, my paper was too absorbent.
I know. So my paper just dried. So re-wet that second rectangle. Re-wet it. If it's dry,
are we
as mine
still
is.
in the first quadrant?
We're in the second rectangle now.
No, but the quadrant of paper.
Yeah, I would say the first quadrant. Yes.
No,
I've
second.
already filled mine in with the first technique.
Oh.
We're on to the second
Square.
square of the first technique.
So then you want to take that color and then you just want to dab it.
Yeah.
So now, once you get some dabs in there,
Oh.
you can see the color is starting to spread. So the first technique was to simply do brush strokes across, and now this, we're actually just dabbing the color, and it's creating sort of like a little explosion of color.
But you were saying it was wet on dry.
No, that's
But it
that's
was a wet
later.
rectangle.
That's the next one.
We're still on wet on wet.
Totally give up. We'll wait till the end.
Your phone is just so heavy.
I know. So let's see if you can see. So yeah, the first one, that was just doing the brush strokes back and forth. And then this is just putting dabs of color onto the wet rectangle. So I'll show you, Kev. I'll be right back. So this is when you just do the brush stroke back and forth. And then this is when you dab that color onto the wet surface. So that's sort of like the effect that you get. So this is just with the regular brush strokes on the wet rectangle, and this is with the dabs of color
On the wet.
on the wet rectangle. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm gonna fix you so you don't sag anymore. Whoop!
Very poor.
So I think that one thing to note about this, these are really two very like sort of basic steps, techniques with watercolor. That this is again to sort of give you a bit of confidence in terms of approaching the canvas when you're on your own, right? Because who knows what to do when you sit down like with watercolor. So these are just sort of a couple of techniques that can help you.
Don't mind me.
So the second one we're gonna do, Francis, you talked about this already. So now we're gonna do wet on dry, and this is the fundamental, the go-to.
What kids do
What
in school.
exactly?
Yeah.
What you instinctually do
gonna
as someone
hold it.
who approaches something. So you're basically just literally taking. You want a dry piece of watercolor paper, and then pick whatever color you choose. Kev's doing purple, looks nice.
Ooh, it is very nice.
And Francis, what color are you using?
I guess I'll use green.
Green,
because
okay.
it's my water screen.
So then you just
Very nice.
dip that color, and then
Magic.
with the wet brush, you just
That's a
make
beautiful
rectangle.
color.
I knew. I like
I knew.
And just fill it in, yes. And so this is just to give you a sense of how you can control, how you can manipulate, and how you can change the watercolor. One thing to note when you do wet on dry, what's really nice about wet on dry is you get more of that sort of opaque, a nice fuller, richer color.
It's the same. It's my other ones.
There we go.
How do you get rid of the dot that's left when you lift your brush up?
Try playing with it. Use the brush, move it yourself. Yeah, that's the thing too. When it comes to this type of stuff, these are just techniques to help you out, but also in the end, it's about you and what you want to do with your canvas. And I always say, like, feel free to experiment. Feel free to play around.
If it's paper, do we still call it canvas? Well, why not?
Yeah, I think
I need to know these.
I
know
think
nothing
that-
about painting.
the technical definition of a canvas, yes, but technically, or like what we're doing right now, this is watercolor paper.
Yeah.
But a canvas can be anything.
Especially for watercolor.
A canvas can be when you look out the window. That's a canvas. When I do film and video work, looking through my lens, Kevin, you know, as a photographer, that's your canvas. So that's why I'm using that word today. All right, so that is wet on dry. Okay. Woo. Woo. 2 down, 2 more to go.
2 more to go.
Third one, we're going to be doing building up color, which is basically creating, using one color to see the different values of what you can get with it. So for this,
Is this wet on dry or wet on
Are
wet?
you using a little brush or a big brush?
I'm just using like, I don't know, I think this is like a little brush,
Little brush.
medium little brush. And this is going to be on dry paper. So you're going to be dipping your brush
Here, I can get you some.
and
Okay.
using one color.
Difficult, Fran. No, I don't know. I need to know every little thing. I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
First part, not the second.
So again, I'm going to stick to using green. So for this one,
What your paper more?
Do you have space on your palettes to dip a little bit of water onto it?
Yeah.
Like, for example, so you can see, I'm just going to take some of this water and I'm going to dip it, sort of create just a little pool of water here on my palette. So just...
Are we moving to a new quadrant now?
We are, yes. So
Okay.
this is our third technique. It's called building up color. So what you want to do is put a little bit of, just make a little pool of color or a little pool of water on your palette.
On a color, you mean? I don't have a palette. I was given a little box of paints.
Okay, so for that,
It's
use
swimming in. I got lots of water in the green.
try using the lid. So the lid that's underneath it. Yeah. And I'll come show you what I'm doing. I'll bring it
Well,
by.
I understand.
I'll be right back.
I think it should be better.
Ooh. So basically, I'm just creating like a little
Yep.
pool of water.
I got a couple.
Okay, right on, perfect. So you want this first pool, it's just going to be sort of clear. It'll be a little murky with color, but you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I've already gone a little further and put color in it. Is that?
Maybe try it again just here, just put water in there.
Hey guys, still fixing this tripod. Still fixing.
A couple of dabs.
I think people, you can still see me. You can see me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is just
So
a nice
now-
overhead view.
So basically, we're going to be creating a spectrum with one color. So take that clear water and maybe put like 4 just like little 1-inch strokes, brush strokes right beside each other.
Clear ones.
Clear, yes. And it might have like just a tint of color from your brush. That's okay.
Yeah.
So you can see.
So just the one dip in water to make the 4, or a different dip for each one?
No, just one dip or.
Like the first one has lots of water, the second one has a little less.
Cassandra, hi Cassandra. You are viewing our technical difficulties right now.
And then the fourth one is almost dry.
Okay, so now that you've done that first part, now with that little pool of water you've created, take a bit of pigment from the watercolor and
This is just an overhead view more.
just put a drop of color into that pool.
Just one?
Just one, yeah. You want it to be lighter. Just one.
Hello, Clint Roscoe. How's it going?
One each, or just in the first stroke? You told us to put 4 strokes clear.
Yes.
Okay, so
Got it. So now.
Thank you for forgiving us, Cassandra. It is a challenge here.
Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear you. So now you.
4 clear strokes.
Yes.
Let's take some pigment, put color. On just the one stroke or on all 4?
So now you're going to take a little bit of pigment from the watercolor, and you're going to put it into that little pool of
View
water
over
you
of what
created on
you
your
got
palette.
here. So many pretty colors.
Oh, I thought you meant to put it on the water on the paper.
I like those, just the strips.
Yeah.
I should be sitting closer to you.
Really should.
So now once you have that little bit of hint of color added to that pool, dip your brush,
Yeah.
and then try doing 4 more strokes beside that clear set of strokes. Does that make sense?
Okay.
No, why do we have the clear ones then?
Because we're creating a gradient.
Why do we
Ooh.
have the clear ones? What are we doing with them?
So a gradient is like a spectrum of colors. So what we're creating is from the lightest hue of green, for you example, to the darkest hue of green. And so we're using the pigment in this little pool of water to create that gradient.
What I mean is, I've got 4 strokes there. You want me to put them over here, or do you want me to put it in the clear strokes?
Okay, yeah.
I didn't understand what you meant.
Yeah, I guess because you are far away, it's hard to see. The strokes should be 4 strokes beside each other,
Yeah, I got
but they
them
should
there.
actually be like this. So I just did 4 strokes all together.
I can't see what you. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so
Together.
this way I did.
No, they're spaced apart so you can see there's 4.
Yeah, so I did 4 of them together like this.
Oh, they're supposed to be together.
Yeah.
It's like a rectangle then.
I guess technically the start of one, yeah.
I really like this green color you're using.
Me too. It's like a phthalo green. So then,
Pathalo.
so Kevin, can you see that?
Yeah, I
like that.
I haven't been able to do it, but I know what you're trying to do.
Okay. So then I'm gonna take a bit more green and I'm gonna add it.
Because all mine are a bit more green. So I think I started off too dark. Maybe that's my problem. I'll start off.
The nice thing is watercolors, you get to do this play with the water and the color. So you're always
4 strokes
You're-
of color and each one gets lighter as you go along.
So if you start off with that really intense pigment on your brush, and then you don't have any more pigment on it, you should have that gradient. But sometimes myself, I find I just load up my brush with far too much pigment to begin with, and then each stroke is going to look identical. So
Watercolor?
yeah, I have that problem with watercolors. So what I've done is I do the first couple of strokes, like Kevin here, he's just doing a stroke all across his paper, which works. It's just really playing and figuring out your preference with it. But what you
How the paint works.
yeah, well, so what you can also do too is that once you do a couple strokes with it, you can actually dab off some of the pigment and then go back into it.
That's exactly what it is. So that's a gradient you created.
Okay.
So you can either go. You chose to go the darker way,
Dark to light.
dark to light, and that that totally works too. So you get a sense of how one color can have so many different values in it, right? Because blue isn't just blue. Blue is a darker blue. It's a lighter blue.
So this is wet on wet.
No, it's wet on dry, but
What were the 4 clear lines for then?
that was to start the gradient.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We have James Squared in the building. James Squared, double James.
Oh, James and James.
James and James.
How's it going?
I get you down on his shoulders, eh?
I mean, maybe past quarantine times, yes. That might be a superhuman, though. That'd be too tall, I think.
So I'm gonna show. So yeah, that's a. So Kevin and I basically did the same thing but opposite. So you kind of get that sense of how it's lighter to the darker.
Yeah.
The same, you have that lighter to the darker. So blue isn't just blue. Blue is a sky blue. It's an ocean blue, and that's all from one color, which is kind of.
Hard to do.
It's hard to do, but you have so many pieces of paper to use.
Yeah.
And also, my secret here.
Water, I just
Hi, guys.
Okay, so
My secret that I like to do is I like to, once I use a type of paper, and I'm just sampling with the front of it, I'll flip it over once it's dry and use the back of the paper. Because we can't waste paper here. I mean, you can, you're allowed to, you're a master of your own watercolor painting.
more beside it.
I do not, never. See, look at my painting over here. I didn't do too much, but I have this beautiful green and this lovely blue, and now I'm going to do that wet on wet that James was talking about. So I'm going to go wet, 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 wet over here, and then add in a little bit of red because I am so inspired by Kevin's piece. I really like that dabbing technique, though. Dab, 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 dab. I wonder if I can do a dab into a gradient. Like some wild tie-dye. Did you do the gradient as dry, or wet on dry, or dry? Oh, wet on dry. Okay.
Yes. So a gradient, I think maybe I should explain what the word gradient. So gradient is when you move from left to right.
Ooh.
Gradient is always moving.
Socially distancing.
So that's why it's a wet on dry, because you're not painting in one spot, you're always sort of painting across the paper. So that's why it's a wet on dry. So whenever your brush hits the canvas or the watercolor
Adding
paper,
some
it's
water
on
now.
dry paper. So Kevin, for example, with yours, you kind of went right across, yeah, from dark to light. So maybe show Francis.
So I just started off with one.
Progression.
Progression,
But
yeah.
where's the four
Or
clear
degression.
ones?
Let it go.
Oh, thank you. Doesn't make sense, he's saying it's dry, but it's wet, so I
I
don't.
think that was to start off so the pigment wouldn't collect too much, so kind of trying to
Just
create
like that.
Wow. Now it looks okay, but once it's dry, hopefully it looks nicer. We'll let that breathe. Hi, I'm back.
Hey, how did your grading?
Oh, I'll show you. It kind of looks like a little peacock.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh, beautiful. Yes, that's exactly,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
that
not the way
same.
he said it.
Yeah, I know, Mike.
Thank you. You're such a good
It's just
teacher.
one thing in.
You're welcome. Cassandra, I will check my messages after this video and I'll get back to you on that. I look forward to hearing your questions.
I'm curious as to what the fourth technique is.
Ooh.
The fourth technique, you know what? We are going to go
Thank
right to
you
number
so
5.
much.
Right to
And
number 5.
So
Woo!
basically, number 5 is combining, using both the wet on dry and using wet on wet. So
Whoa.
you have a piece of paper.
Okay.
I thought we'd do something just really simple. Maybe
I was not focused.
a moon. A moon. So I'll show you what I'm going to draw.
Okay, Kristen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kristen, someone's coming at you for your
It's a half moon though. I'm doing a half moon.
Oh, okay.
So on your paper, maybe at the, we'll do like a smaller moon here. I'll draw one for you so you can see.
Oh, does everyone need a pencil?
Yeah.
I can
You want to pass it out?
do the hand cam.
So if you pass that out, then I'll do my moon and I'll show them after what I did.
What color?
Thank you. That's just perfect.
Okay, Fran, you're getting the white pencil.
What am I doing?
Drawing a circle, yep.
So we're going to do,
Half moon.
I think try doing a half moon. It's sort of fun.
I just did. I'll do
You can do a crescent, you can do a half. What's the other one called? Is it a gibbous? Is that a moon phase or is that a monkey?
I don't know. And then I'm going to
That's a gibbon.
I'm going to make a couple of
Oh, it's a
stars.
gibbous. Cassandra, Google it for us. What's a gibbous?
stars.
So can you see this? So
Yeah.
something like that.
We're drawing the stars too?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. You see that, Kevin?
Yeah.
And Francis, can you see that?
It's still wet. Oh, I left a mark on it.
Yes, wet is wet.
Wet. Wet on wet. Wet is wet.
Great observation.
So we can just draw.
I don't want to draw the circle first. I think I'm just going to draw it as the moon. Mainly because I don't have a pencil.
I'm going blind, you know. That's why.
What if your moon looks like a banana?
That's okay.
So pretty for dipping, banana.
Banana.
So I've got two.
Bye-bye, Clint Roscoe. Thanks for chopping in and saying hi. Enjoy your book later today.
So that's what I got. I got 2 stars and a moon. So if you have 3, that's cool. Kevin, you're doing. So Kevin's got 2 and a moon. Cool.
Me?
No.
So now we want to start with.
Oh, this looks like
the
a
wet on dry technique.
banana.
So we're gonna basically paint in the moon and the stars. So you're just gonna fill in the moon and the stars with whatever color you want to choose. I'm gonna pick like probably yellow, I guess. You know, be a bit more.
I've never had one of those.
Hey guys, I have a great turnout of events. So a gibbous refers to the shape, which is less than the full circle of a full moon, but larger than the semicircle shape of the moon at the 3rd quarter. Cassandra is Google.
Yay, thank you, Cassandra.
That's great. Now we know it's not a monkey.
Okay.
Different colors or the same colors?
If you want to do all the same color, do that. If you want to do 3 different colors,
That's okay.
do that. Yeah, totally.
Mix around.
Wasn't sure
Mix it
what we were
around.
putting in for here.
So again, I'm going to keep using these terms because it's going to make you remember them, but this is wet on dry. So we're taking wet paint and we're painting it directly to the dry paper. hence wet on dry.
That's very beautiful yellow.
Yeah. And the stars, I'm gonna do mine all yellow. What color are you doing, Kev? Blue.
Blue is the color of Kevin's day.
Oh,
Oh, it's like the song. Blue dabba dee dabba da dabba dee dabba da.
who's all there? Is Kate still on?
I know Cassandra's chatting
Hey,
with us. Hey,
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Hi.
Hello. We miss you. Come on by sometime if you have the time. And Clint Roscoe was here too.
Oh, right on.
Hello,
Yeah.
Clint. But Clint went to go read a book. I don't know if he's still here. He was- No, he got the technique and now he's using his mind.
Yeah.
And then Kate was also watching us. Kate did the most fun workshop yesterday. Oh, we were painting trees, and she got crazy and started painting her sky pink.
Yeah.
Wah!
Cool.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Very
"This is
cool.
nice." And now just pink and yellow, like
Yeah.
cool.
That was the best part, is when she totally
What?
went for the
Yeah.
abstract colors.
Okay, so now rinse off your brush. We're just
Okay.
gonna use the same brush. So this is actually what you're gonna get after this is it's gonna be a little dramatic, you know. So basically,
The drama.
Now what do we do?
or maybe they should get another brush for this. Do you want to pass?
Yeah.
Kevin and
Small?
I got a second.
Francis?
I got a second.
You got a second one. So now just use
Oh, those are beautiful.
so
Those look like James's.
use the wet on wet technique, where you
Okay.
take just the water and then cover the watercolor paper with the clear water, but don't
on the stars.
don't go around the stars. Find like that outline,
The whole sheet?
the whole sheet. Yeah.
Whew.
Let's give it a dry.
You can do it.
No.
It's a push and pull. You gotta add some water, you gotta add some pigment. You gotta add some water, you gotta add some pigment. But start with all the water first off.
Okay.
Also, luckily, if your water is a little bit colored, which a lot of the water is, I can get you some new one. But I personally like painting with the water sometimes.
Yes.
If I want a really light hue, like James has a little bit of green right now in his water, and he kind of has this eerie green sky, which is so cool. And we have over here, Kevin's is a little purple. Ooh, bluish purple.
Don't paint over the moon or the stars. Paint around them with the water.
Got it.
Again, this is that wet on wet technique, that very first one we did. And once you get that water all over your paper, take the color that you want the sky to be, and then just start pulling that color
James's desk has
across
some.
the
Thank you.
over the wet.
Okay,
And
so
make a
now a
little
different
pool
color?
of it in here?
No, so you've got your paper wet, right?
Yep.
So now choose the color you want.
Right.
So whether it's green or purple,
So put the water into the color.
put a little bit of color onto the tip of your brush now. And then, like that first exercise, just start pulling the color across the wet paper.
Ooh.
So then you get that. So I'm just sort of doing full brush strokes across. Now don't paint over the moon or the stars, just paint delicately around them. Try to find the shape. So what you're gonna end up having is a little bit of white and a white outline around your moon and your stars.
But when you paint a stroke, it's dark on the left and faded up.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like watercolor, you kind of, the unexpected happens with watercolor, you know, because the water can bleed around. That's what kind of makes it fun. Like I've got a lot of buildup of dark green on the right side of my paper.
But it's not even.
That's the point.
That's the point.
I know. It's hard to get your mind around.
It doesn't look very good.
Well, it's going to look different than an acrylic painting.
Well, can't I go like this?
You can, if you'd like to. You're going to get a different effect, though. But that's definitely what you can do.
So yeah, Kevin, great. You see Kevin's getting a strong sense of that
Gradient.
texture and
Oh my
gradients.
god. Also, a sneaky thing that Kevin has done too. He's a sneaky. He actually added a little bit of water in each of these, and this is a palette I've used before, so I always leave my palette very, very messy. I was bad, did not clean it, but he is reusing the colors, which you can do if you have your palette at home. But he just actually added water to each of these inside ones, and then he can just dip in and get, like I said, painting with the water, get a little bit of tinted water and use it. So he doesn't have to keep dipping into the other, I guess, pressed palettes. But that is probably something you learned because you have been playing with watercolors a lot lately.
Because I've been coming to Studio Central, and I really enjoy the creative techniques that make my life so much better.
I didn't pay him. Product placement. Thanks. Thanks, Kevin.
Your checks in the
Studio
mail,
Central. Studio Central works.
That's great. We will pay you in a water bottle and granola bar. Woohoo! Oh, that is a beautiful green with yellow.
Yeah. So I think it's again, like, these techniques aren't like, it's not creating the picture, it's allowing yourself to feel comfortable with watercolor and to know that there's different ways to approach a watercolor paper
With the brush,
with the brush.
with the palette.
Looks like hell.
I actually think just add a little bit more water and you can get it. It'll keep the color flowing.
No, it's all dry here.
You
So
can
Kevin,
relight it.
yeah, Kevin, that's really
That's stunning.
It absorbs right into the paper.
Yeah,
Wow.
I tried for a gradient.
yeah. So now you can. So the dry on dry is the moon. So that's
Yeah.
and then the wet, you wet the canvas. Sometimes the paper does dry, Francis. Like I
Yeah.
know that's what you can do is
Wow.
you wet the paper and then
It's kind of fun to like push that color, like what we were doing with the watercolor pencil crayons.
Yeah.
Is that you can kind of just wet your brush now and then push the color in and out.
Oh,
It's very like how you're exactly how you're doing. Yeah, you're getting lighter colors brought in, but it blends so nice.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I should go even
And
closer
that
to
gives
the.
you a smoother,
I guess if I.
more,
It's a different technique if I actually went.
But even here you can
Try to
get-
touch
I
the
love
two?
that sense of-
The thing is too, if you touch the two and one of them is wet, you could get this like bleed out, which could be interesting. Well, a little bit actually is in this start, which looks
Yeah.
very
Looks
pretty.
great.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, and so
Hi.
that's while we're sort of plunking away at just that sort of concludes today's demo. So a few techniques to make to get comfortable with watercolor. And as I said at the beginning, I think sometimes it's easy to say, "Oh, I'm an artist. I paint in watercolor." What does that even mean?
It's true.
It's such a like, okay, sure you do, but these are really sort of the fundamental techniques to approaching watercolor painting. So if anything, remember wet on wet
Wet on wet.
and wet on dry.
Wet on dry.
Boom.
Boom. Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, James,
Yeah.
for teaching us today.
Thank you, James.
Woo!